If this is the case, you must check each of them separately. There are also other types of problems, like this one. Sometimes the fuel pressure falls slowly after the engine has started. What could be the cause of this? Since the fuel pressure is normal during engine cranking, the circuitry of coil L2 is probably normal. So we can conclude that the problem may be caused by a defect in the circuitry of coil L1 in the ECU or in the wiring between them. We have already studied how this circuit can be checked. The next problem, which we will look at, is the problem of the fuel pressure being too high or too low during idling or racing. We will first explain, using this demonstration model, the case of high fuel pressure. Fuel pressure can rise too high if the fuel return line is clogged or if the pressure regulator is malfunctioning. If the fuel return line becomes clogged, the fuel pressure in the high-pressure line will increase. If the fuel pressure tends to remain too high during engine idling, the pressure regulator must be inspected. Now, let's inspect the pressure regulator. With the engine idling, remove the vacuum sensing hose from the pressure regulator. Then, see if the fuel pressure is within the specified range, both when the hose is fitted and when it is removed. Let's assume next that the fuel pressure is too low during racing. If fuel pressure is too low during racing, the first thing to do is check the fuel filter for clogging. If the fuel filter is not clogged, what should we do next? First, pinch the fuel return hose, and then crank or start the engine. If the fuel pressure is higher than the specified level when you do this, it may be that the fuel pressure regulator is at fault. If the fuel pressure is lower than the specified level, however, you might conclude that the fuel pump is at fault. Now, the fourth item is the residual fuel pressure. If you check it and find that the pressure is lower than normal, this may be a result of any of three problems. It may be because the check valve built into the fuel pump is defective. It may be due to a faulty pressure regulator. Or it may be a result of the injector sealing trouble. Now, we'll see how the injectors and their circuitry are inspected. We can tell whether or not the injectors are operating normally by listening to their sound using an instrument called a sound scope. If you can hear a regular rhythmic sound like this, you can tell the injectors are working normally. If any of the injectors is malfunctioning, it could cause an idling problem or lack of power. Let's study this in more detail using a circuit diagram showing how the injectors are connected. If you can hear the sound of at least one injector operating, you can conclude that the power supply circuitry itself is in good condition. If some of the injectors are not operating, you should check their connector contacts or look for open circuits in their coils. We will see how injectors are inspected for open circuits. If an injector does not operate and you do not find any opens in the injector coil, the injector valve may be stuck. Now, if you do not hear any operating sound at all from all of the injectors, you should check the voltage between one of the injectors and the body grounding. If the measured voltage is not equal to the battery voltage, you should check the fuse. Let's check the voltage of the injector connector first. If there is voltage between the injector and body ground, check the voltage at terminal BF of the ECU. Then, measure the voltage between ECU terminal number 10 or number 20 and E01 or E02 to check the ECU grounding circuit voltage.
فراموش نکنید که توی کانال سابسکرایب کنید و کانال رو با دیگر دوستانتون به اشتراک بذارید. تا ویدیوی بعدی روزگار خوش.